Hi, I'm Amy Stasiewicz, and welcome to The Minutes. Thanks for listening today. It's great to have you along on The Minutes. This is a City of Thunder Bay podcast. The Minutes takes a look at what happened at Thunder Bay City Council and Standing Committee meetings. But this week, we have a special edition of the show where we'll be chatting all about Build Thunder Bay. You can find The Minutes wherever you get your podcasts, including our YouTube channel and our website, thunderbay.ca/theminutes. If you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening at City Hall, hit that subscribe button. On today's episode, I'll be interviewing the Director of Development Services, Joel DePeuter. There's a ton that goes into building and developing, whether you're building a garage or planning out a major new development. Joel will fill us in on how the City of Thunder Bay can help you along the way and set you up for success. Build Thunder Bay is your one stop for information and answers to questions about the developmental process. Small projects like paving a driveway or big projects like building a new multi-unit building all need to go through the city. The one-stop development shop makes planning and building a more straightforward process. Joel DePeuter, the Director of Development Services, is the expert on all things Build Thunder Bay. Hi, Joel. Thanks for joining us in the Minute Studio today.
Hi, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's just talk about general stuff, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. So some of our listeners might be wondering, what exactly is Build Thunder Bay, and when and why did this initiative even start?
Great. Yeah. Build Thunder Bay is our new brand. It's been about a year, right, since we initiated Build Thunder Bay, and it is also, in addition to being a brand, it's our call to action, right? It is states, let's build a Thunder Bay for the future, one that is sustainable, it's prosperous and inclusive. I think that this brand was initiated with the Housing Accelerator Fund, where suddenly we had this huge opportunity, right? Like to really accelerate the development of Thunder Bay, and it had us stop and think about what can we do utilizing these funds, and how can we change Thunder Bay forever? And that's what Build Thunder Bay is about.
Right, and so. When did this when did this rebrand of Build Thunder Bay happen?
So that was I believe it was February 2024, right? So at about the time that that the city received positive news about its Housing Accelerator Fund. And, we really began to reimagine development in Thunder Bay and how we can accelerate development to set us up well for the future.
Right. I think many of us have heard from people in our community that the city has had too much red tape or that there's too many hoops to jump through when it comes to development. How does Build Thunder Bay help move away from this narrative?
Mm-hmm. Well, first, I think, development isn't always easy, right? There are rules to follow, and actually, most of them are put in place by the province, right? So things like the Building Code, the Planning Act, how rezonings work, and so forth. This is all established by the province. So, in the one-stop development shop, we really seek to streamline development and make it as easy as possible for the customers. So some of the the ongoing changes that have occurred is that there's a focus on making things simple as possible, right? To provide good information, explanation about how these processes work that are established by the province and the municipal bylaws for Thunder Bay that fall beneath them. We have moved all development-related services under one roof. It can be difficult sometimes to figure out who you need to talk to or what is the actual question. For that reason, we've provided one email, one phone number, one location, one website where people can find all the information that they need to move their development forward, or even help work on the idea, right? What is it that what is this project, right? What do we want to achieve? At the one-stop development shop, there is an extraordinary focus on customer service, and I think I was just speaking about that partially. Our staff are very available to speak with people and help them through their project. and also speed. So we know that with our short building season, speed is very important. So we focus on getting those permits and approvals completed quickly. And also, I think it pays off that we're helping, we're talking with people about their project beforehand so that that review process can go as smoothly as possible.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to get 10 steps in and then realize you forgot to do 3 of the things.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That would be frustrating for sure.
Or that there was a misunderstanding of what was
Right.
actually required. So, actually, the approval timelines, if I use building services for example, the building services consistently providing its reviews much faster than the mandated service level by the province, like sometimes twice as fast, often twice as fast. But like the length of time it takes to actually obtain a permit has a lot to do with the quality of the submission and what might be missing when it's received. So I think it's great when we can speak to people beforehand.
Yeah, great. Yeah. The website has so much useful information, but it can be a bit overwhelming if you're new to building or doing a development or what have you. What's the first thing people should do if they're starting off their project?
Yeah, so on the Build Thunder Bay website, the One Stop Development Shop website, there's it's set out it's well laid out in terms to help you funnel down to find the correct information. So a very common project, and it ranges, right? So for a very common project, building a deck or a garage, or you're wanting to split your lot, start a new business, change the use of a building, those, let's say, common projects, it is relatively easy to find on the city's website. And it goes right down to major transformational projects. Large community project, lithium refinery, something like that, right? That it's essentially breaks the mold. We have a team of people that's ready to receive those projects.
Right.
So I think the website is a place to start, right? It's a place to access the tools that are provided to find information and help a customer think about their project. And through that website, customers can book a time with our staff and further talk about their project.
All right. So a big part of the planning is obviously budget. There are some grants and incentives for residential or construction projects. Can you tell us a bit about this? And I know you kind of mentioned the Housing Accelerator Fund. Some people might actually not know what the Housing Accelerator Fund is. So can you expand?
Yeah. So there are a range of grants that are available to support development in Thunder Bay. So starting with Housing Accelerator and housing grants, there are, the city had been offering grants to support additional dwelling units in homes, and frankly, there's been enormous uptake on that, and that program has been oversubscribed, and there is a wait list. The city's been providing grants for multi-residential development, where we're really encouraging people to reach the maximum density or close to it that's permitted in the zone. There are grants that are specific to downtown areas where we're encouraging housing and creation of storefront space and sprucing up the exterior. And also the city has released a new growth community improvement plan, which is about inviting and accelerating the large employment projects.
Okay, so what about the community improvement plan? Can you break down what exactly that is? And well, you're the expert, so I'll let you go.
I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to. So I'll say so. Community improvement plans. I'll say they're required to enable offering grants. So this is a tool that's provided by the province. The city has a citywide housing community improvement plan, a citywide growth community improvement plan, and strategic core area improvement plans, which apply to the downtowns and the business areas. So these plans, they list the type of grants that we'd like to make available. They're strategic in terms of what are we trying to accomplish? What are we pointing at? I mentioned earlier that in the downtowns, we're very focused on adding adding additional housing units, and then also improving storefronts and that commercial walkable vibe that we all like in places that we visit, and strengthening that here in Thunder Bay. The growth community improvement plan is very focused on adding major additional employment projects. So really to qualify for under that plan and the associated grants, a minimum project value of $5 million is required. So we were talking about large projects.
Okay. And yeah, like you said, we have a growth department now, so we're heavily focused on that, obviously. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We keep hearing about the housing shortages and affordability in Thunder Bay. So how does Build Thunder Bay help improve these issues for the future?
Addressing our housing shortage and ensuring that the community remains affordable, this is a central mission, right? It's extremely important to the growth of Thunder Bay and enjoying a high quality of life in Thunder Bay. So with respect to affordability, I mean, Thunder Bay, remains affordable, but the costs are certainly increasing. So we know that the cost to purchase a home has become unattainable to many people. As prices they continue to rise, and even now, the rental costs are not affordable to 50% of renters. So this is something we would like to improve. So one of the best ways to improve things is through improve pricing is to adjust the supply and demand pressures. So the city is currently about 1,000 units shy of where it should be in terms of housing supply, and there's just extraordinary work to improve that number. So through the grants we've been talking about, there is we're accelerating development and pushing developers and landowners to develop your lands now. Right, there will never be a better time to develop them right now while we're offering these grants. We have been working on unlocking lands for development. Extending services into where there are gaps in services, and also taking a close look at Thunder Bay's owned land inventory in terms of what are there lands that we can surplus for housing. So if I continue to let's talk about that for a moment. Administration and council's direction. We in 2024 identified 40 sites that could be surplus potentially to be developed for housing. And council's been, we've been bringing these properties forward in batches. Council has declared 15 of those properties surplus. We've issued 200 permits for housing on those sites, permits for 200 units. And actually, council has recently declared surplus 4 major sites for housing that together could accommodate over 1,000 units. So that there's many projects that are occurring, many initiatives, and they're all working together towards that central purpose of adding more housing supply, which improves affordability.
Okay, so you're talking about the opportunity sites or the surplus lands. Obviously, it's been talked about quite a bit. Can you explain to the listeners what the call for proposals process is? So how does that all kind of come together?
Yes, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I think to streamline the surplus process, administration identified 10 high potential sites, so opportunity sites we call them, that were relatively shovel ready, and that for the most part they're appropriately zoned. They all have access to servicing. They're all large and essentially development ready. In June, the city issued a call for proposals for these 10 sites and received multiple proposals. So really demonstrating that, we have a healthy development community that's ready to work, right, and ready to take on these transformational projects. Just very recently at council, 4 major sites were considered, being one site in the downtown on Tupper Street, a site on Rundle Street, a site on Junot Avenue, and a site on Fanshawe Street. And together these can support over 1,000 units. 650 of those could be receive building permits in 2026.
Wow.
And if I could just put into perspective that number
Yeah,
of
yeah.
650 units, over past years, the city's been issuing permits for 350 units. So like just this, we could see, and that is a double of previous
Wow.
construction volumes, right? So we could very well see construction volumes double again in 2026, which is the goal.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a good perspective from last year that 'cause people might not realize. Okay, so some of the opportunity sites can hopefully, help with some things such as the housing continuum. What exactly is that? Like, can you explain that concept?
Well, the housing continuum is about like maybe the the full range of housing that can be provided, right? And actually, or housing conditions, right? And this could range all the way from like being underhoused, right, to living like renting in an apartment or a single family dwelling, or uh, perhaps a long-term care home, right? So there's a whole range of housing that people require in different circumstances or different stages of their lives. And there's efforts to increase housing of all forms. Within the opportunity sites and the projects that have been brought forward for council consideration, this actually addresses like quite a few different types of housing, and directly and indirectly. So what I mean is that, say for example, in Thunder Bay, we are seeking housing that is affordable, right? So perhaps under $1,600 a square or per month, or closer to 1,000. We have a shortage of one-bedroom units, so many of these developments, they have like a larger number of one-bedroom units that are affordable to lower income groups. They also include like 2 and possibly 3-bedroom apartments that are market rates, right? And we've heard many stories about people that are perhaps their kids have left the home, right? They live in a single detached dwelling. Their kids are moved on now. It's too much house for them. They're ready for the next stage of their life, and they are looking for a new, fresh, and it may not be it may be kind of expensive, right? Like an apartment where they can spend the next phase of their life. Well, as as we create movement throughout the housing stock, that opens up housing inventory for others. So if a couple moves or an individual move out of their single family dwelling to a different form of housing, well, that opens up that single detached dwelling for, let's say, a growing family that's looking for a detached home to raise their family.
Right.
As we create new and even in some cases more expensive housing inventory, rental housing inventory, there may be people that are in a position to move up the ladder, right, and move to a newer accommodation where rent is higher, and then that frees up that current that other unit for somebody that's just starting out. So it's very important that in some cases we're targeting. We want to target a particular type of home, like single bedroom units where there's a shortage of supply right now. And in other cases, we're looking to get things moving, right? Like within the housing inventory, which has an impact and helps across the board.
Right.
So
Yeah.
any type of housing, any type of new housing unit is welcome and has a good impact on the overall ecosystem.
Yeah. Because then, it'll cause like a total ripple effect.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is great. Okay. So we've chatted a lot, but what are some really exciting things that happened in 2025 that you and your team are really proud of?
Mm-hmm. Well, I could list some of the projects that have commenced in 2025 that are, I think, transformational.
Yeah.
There have been ongoing amendments to the zoning bylaw that just has really kickstarted more housing, right? So now, really, if the lot's large enough, 6 units can be developed on any lot within the urban area. And our permit data is showing that this is working, which I can talk about later. We mentioned the surplusing lands for housing. Like we're very proud that we've been able to bring forward lands that can accommodate over 1,000 units. That's amazing. There have been some large infrastructure projects that the growth department's working on together with infrastructure and operations, such as the Central Avenue lands development and Burwood servicing extensions, and those two together, like that could be 3,000 to 4,000 units in the short and over the longer term. I had mentioned the Growth Community Improvement Plan. That's a 2025 accomplishment. And the Pool 6 development, that's a major one that we've been working on that council will see in 2026. So if the city's been hard at work, led by Development Services and the Growth Department, to envision what the future of Pool 6 will be like, and how can we accommodate or achieve a park-like setting, something that is a transformational attraction for both the residents and tourists alike, and generate a lot of tax revenue.
Right. And for people who don't know what Pool 6 is.
Great question.
Yeah.
So Pool 6 is just south of the Prince Arthur's Landing. So a continuation past the art gallery where the cruise ships are, where the cruise ship terminal is. Right. So that is, I think, the next stage to develop Thunder Bay's waterfront, which is, I think, it's going to be an amazing transformation.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing for sure. Okay, so all these amazing things have happened in 2025, but how is this work actually all paying off?
Yeah, well, I think, all of our numbers are growing, right? Like when we look at our development activity, the permits that have been approved, and our overall construction value. In 2025, permits were issued for $360 million in construction value. So last year's last year's construction value was $224 million. And that was a good year, right? So if I look back 5 years ago, typical construction value might have been $150 million, $175 million. At almost $370 million in construction value, we're doubling what was typical 5 years ago. So that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm. In terms of, overall building permits, those numbers are up. We're over 1,000 permits, 7,000, almost 8,000 inspections. So those are both higher than the previous year, which was an amazing year. In terms of housing units, nearly 380 new units had permits issued for it. So that's every year this has climbed, right? So in 2024, we're and each record-breaking, or we'll say modern record-breaking. 2023, 300 units permitted. In 2024, 345 units permitted. And then in 2025, 379 permits permitted. So we have, again, I think like that is double the rates of 5 years ago, 3 years ago even. And I think we're on the cusp of doubling again. So it's great to see these numbers continue to grow. And I think it also demonstrates getting through the growing pains of capacity building in the construction industry, right? So obviously, this doesn't flip overnight, right?
Right.
We have lots of opportunity. There's a lot of demand. Construction capacity and skilled trades capacity has been a challenge. But I think these growing numbers, they indicate ongoing improvement capacity, and I think we can double again.
Whoa! So 2026 is going to be.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy in a good way.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And finally, is there anything else that you want our listeners to know about Build Thunder Bay or your department in general that we didn't cover today?
Well, maybe I'll just reinforce that we're here to make development simple, provide great customer service, and help people visualize and plan for their projects. We need all kinds of growth, right? So we've been, of course, we've been talking about some of the major projects that have occurred, right, or that we're anticipating. But when I look at the type of development activity that's occurred in 2025, it is made up of all types. And it all helps. It all helps create units and construction value and jobs and investment and tax revenue. It's all very important, and we're pleased to see it all.
Yeah. Great information, Joel, and I can't wait to see all the future projects come to life. And thanks so much for stopping by to chat with me.
You bet. Thanks for having me, and I'd be pleased to do it again.
Awesome. That's it for this week's episode of The Minutes. A big thank you to Joel DePeuter, the Director of Development Services, for joining us. Just a reminder, if you ever don't know where to start with your next project, you can visit the City of Thunder Bay website or stop by in person at the Victoriaville Civic Center on the second floor. If you want more information about City Council, agendas, or minutes, visit thunderbay.ca/council. You can catch the minutes every week wherever you get your podcasts, on our YouTube channel or on our website, thunderbay.ca/theminutes. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I'm Amy. Thanks again for listening to The Minutes. Have a great day.